This is IGN. Some bursts of bloody fun in a game adaptation that slogs its way through a time loop. This is your IGN review of Until Dawn by Chase Hutchinson. In David F. Sandberg's lackluster Until Dawn, the horror game of the same name is transformed into an awkward hybrid of Groundhog Day and The Cabin in the Woods. This is far from a two great tastes that taste great together miracle. Unlike the source material, this movie doesn't successfully unite various flavors of on-screen terror as much as it haphazardly smashes them together. That smashing can occasionally be a glorious, bloody, body-exploding blast, and there are plenty of moments where Sandberg, working again with Annabelle creation cinematographer Maxime Alexandre, stokes our anticipation for something horrible to leap out of the darkness. It's nearly everything else, like the painfully one-note performances, the clunky dialogue, the increasingly ineffective scares that drags Until Dawn into a bottomless pit of its own making. Most notably, this is a strange blend of wholesale reimagining and direct adaptation. The movie lifts some key elements from the game, including Peter Stormare as a menacing figure lurking in the shadows, while jettisoning its snowy setting, array of generically horny teens, and playfully cheeky tone. The loss of this last part is what makes Until Dawn unshakably strange. Without the goofiness, what we have here is a generic horror movie with the high-concept twist of 5 friends trying to survive endless variations of the same terrifying night. Sure, there are some gags, but none clever enough to cut through the shallow backstory of troubled Clover, played by Ella Rubin, searching for her missing sister. Where the flawed yet fun game gets its kicks from toying with scary movie cliches, this self-serious adaptation only rarely feels like it's in on the joke. That's not for lack of trying. Early on, as Clover and some superficially written friends drive through the rain and into the mysterious valley where they'll soon be trapped, one of them points out that the car is the safest place they could be. The rest of the passengers then yell at him, a vehicle full of Randy Meeks types who know such hubris can only lead to a smiting from the horror gods. Maybe they're right. Until Dawn is plenty mean-spirited and wrathful toward its characters, though these joyously macabre moments are too fleeting to inform the movie the way Randy's horror movie rules shape Scream. In lieu of meaningfully skewering the tropes, Until Dawn leans into them, or worse, when the gang realizes they're in a time loop, they allude but don't directly refer to other movies with similar premises. Best not to invite a bunch of unflattering comparisons. As they try to figure out how to escape their predicament, Until Dawn becomes less of a strong horror movie in its own right and more like an amusement park haunted house. Each room may be themed around a different classic of the genre, but they're pale imitations of the real things. Though each night is meant to be different from the last, there are a number of overlaps. A masked killer makes frequent appearances, and there's a vain attempt at some connective tissue in the form of a flimsy, dead-end supernatural subplot. A shift into found footage clumsily tries to catch us up on some nights we don't see in full, while the introduction of a psychological mystery thread over-explains the monsters Until Dawn carries over from the game. But these are mere acts of recreation, granting no additional insight into all the different methods and techniques filmmakers have dreamed up to give us nightmares. They don't do much to give us a better sense of Clover's plight, and they're not all that scary either. Sadly, you won't find any brains or a beating heart amid Until Dawn's abundant gore. Sandberg is still a solid director, so he's able to squeeze some fright from the shaky material fellow Conjuring Universe veteran Gary Dalberman and the Invitation screenwriter Blair Butler have handed him. Until Dawn ends with a tease for a sequel that seems closer in spirit to the game, which means he could very well get his very own redo. Fingers crossed that movie isn't as timid and indecisive as this one, which always feels like it's being pulled in 2 different directions. One involves half-heartedly referring back to the game, reducing it to a collection of Easter eggs. The other points toward an original, albeit highly derivative, unrelated idea that's coasting on Until Dawn's name recognition. In the end, neither is the way to safety or horror movie immortality for poor Clover. Until Dawn shares a title and some key details with the game that inspired it, though it mostly tries to do its own thing, to mixed results. While Annabelle creation director David F. Sandberg is able to find moments of bloody fun and tension, particularly in the way he shoots darkness, the lackluster script he's working with isn't doing him or the movie any favors. It isn't a total disaster, but as it pushed its one-dimensional characters through a cycle of horror cinema's greatest hits, I wish that the morning could come as quickly as possible. Until Dawn's IGN score? 5 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest Until Dawn updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.